Most people think preppers are paranoid, wearing tinfoil hats and building bunkers in the woods. But do you know what's actually crazy? Not being ready when something simple goes wrong, like a power outage, a storm, or say, losing your job. Prepping isn't about panic, it's about peace of mind. Let me show you how common sense preparedness actually makes life easier, not scarier. Hey everyone, I'm Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness, where we focus on being prepared, not paranoid. I started prepping back in 1999 when people were worried about Y2K. The reason why I started was because I thought that people were going to do crazy things. I really didn't think about the whole computer thing. I wasn't really worried about all that, but I thought that people might be crazy and do crazy things, aka rioting, looting, burning, all that kind of stuff during that time frame. And nothing happened. But it taught me something very important. Having extra food, water, and supplies isn't about fear, it's about freedom. It's what our grandparents did every day. Well, today, we're bringing that common sense mindset back. The real reason prepping isn't weird. Here's the truth. Prepping used to be normal. Used to be just an everyday part of life. Gardening, canning your own foods that you grow, stocking them in your pantry, having a root cellar, being able to do basic repairs in your house, electrical, plumbing, heck, most people had built their own houses back then. They didn't just hire a contractor. Vehicle maintenance. People worked on their own vehicles. They rebuilt their engines. They kept them going. Cooking, baking. Back when people actually knew how to do that kind of stuff. How many people do you know today that can actually cook a meal from scratch or bake a loaf of bread from scratch? I'm not saying that I can do that part, but hey, we all have room to grow. When something happens, like the big C in 19, storms or supply issues, suddenly everybody's a prepper again. Go figure. But they forget very quickly afterwards and they go back to their old ways. We as preppers, we think ahead, we see ahead, and we plan for the inevitable. So like in the stores back in 20, when they were going for the TP, we were going for the canned goods. When they moved on to the canned goods, we went on to the bags of beans and rice because we think ahead and we stay ahead. The peace of mind principle. Prepping doesn't make you scared, it makes you calm. Because when others are panicking out there, you already got what you need. That feeling, knowing your family is okay no matter what. That's peace of mind you can't buy on the day of emergency. That's why we plan ahead. We know that if we wait until something happens, well, then it's going to be too late. So back in 2020, when they had the lockdowns and all that crazy stuff going on, hey, I welcomed it, honestly, and so did my family, because we were prepared. We're like, hey, we don't have to go out and fight the crowds in the stores. So we didn't. We just stayed home. For most of it, I still went out some, but it gives you that peace of mind. It allows you to not have to deal with the chaos out there. Now, can most people do that sustainably for months and months and months, or say a year or more? No, they can't. But we talk about common sense prepping here, so I'm going to give you the skills and the ideas on how to eventually get there. It's just a little bit at a time. We all know about life insurance. Well, prepping is living insurance. All right, the common sense way to start. This is where people overcomplicate things. I see it so many times on other prepping channels. They just make it too difficult. They add in too many factors. The fact is, we cannot prepare for everything. Nuclear, chemical, biological attacks, as well as food shortages, supply chain shortages, all the stuff going on, economic collapse, world falling apart, zombie apocalypse. That's why I chose the name asymmetrical preparedness. Asymmetrical means uneven. Because we can't, no matter how hard we try, we're going to have strengths and we're going to have weaknesses. We can't have everything perfect. All we can do is our best. And that's what we're here to talk about. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars on emergency food storage or move off grid tomorrow. Common sense prepping means just doing a little bit at a time. Every time you go to the grocery store, grabbing a couple extra cans, of canned goods, grabbing an extra bag of rice, an extra bag of beans, maybe a water filter, maybe some cordage, maybe some fire starter, a pocket knife, a flashlight, some extra batteries, extra blankets. It's not that difficult, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Speaking of not being expensive, try going to like Goodwill, St. Vincent de Paul, other thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales, garage sales. Yeah, you can get good quality stuff that will work just fine without having to break your bank. If you're just starting off, I suggest starting with water, then food, then basic supplies, including medical. Speaking of medical, antibiotics and prescription medications are very important. You can get those through Jace Medical, prescribed by their doctors. Got a link in the description below and the coupon code. So go there, check it out, get your antibiotics and prescription meds that you might need that you can't get through other sources so that you can survive long-term situations. Yeah, so just add a couple things, maybe one extra thing or something like that every time you go to the grocery store. It depends on how often you go to the grocery store. But every week, make sure that you're adding a little bit at a time and mix it up. Maybe buy a case of waters one time, then maybe buy some canned goods the next time, and then maybe some dry goods. Water and food are the two most important things. But next to that, shelter is the most important, which we have in our homes or our vehicles. But having tarps, cordage, and other things like that, sleeping bags, blankets, preferably wool, that's just a good thing to do. And before you know it, you'll be ahead of 90% of people out there anyway. If you are looking for some of these etc. items, not necessarily the food and the water, maybe water storage items, check out my Amazon store. Links in the description below. Just saying, take a look around. If you want to buy some stuff there, it's a good place to start. If you don't, maybe it'll just give you some ideas about what direction maybe you need to head or remind you of things that you might not have thought about. So the next time somebody tells you preppers are weird, remind them of 2020 and what happened then and all the chaos in the stores. Also, mention their grandparents, the Great Depression, natural disasters, job loss, EBT stopping. Now, if those people that are on EBT spent their checks wisely and had extra canned goods and dry goods on hand, then they wouldn't be freaking out about the fact that they're losing their EBT checks because they would be able to sustain themselves. Just because you're poor doesn't mean you can't prep. Prepping isn't crazy. It allows you the peace of mind to not stress out if something horrible goes on. Let's get in another factor of it. Control. If you're on EBT or in a bad situation, natural disaster or something like that, you're not prepared, who's there to save your rear end? The government steps in and says, oh, we'll take care of you. When the government takes care of you, it always comes with a cost. And that cost is the loss of your freedoms. If you want to be free and you want to enjoy freedom and true self-reliance, that's why we prepare. If you have food set aside and you can take care of yourself, you don't need to run out there to a FEMA camp if something happens. Because we know the situations in those things, not good. So if you want true freedom, get prepared. Don't rely on the government to come save your butt. Because like I said, that always comes at a cost. So become self-reliant, not controlled. If this video helped you see things differently, then please like and hype and subscribe for more common sense prepping videos every week. We have simple steps coming every Thursday to you to help you become better prepared. Starting with this Thursday, how to build your 3-day food supply. No panic, no hype, just smart prepping. I'll see you then. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day and blessings to you and yours.